It was midnight in New Geneva, the new capital of Earth. The city lights were bright, but inside the great hall of the United Council, everything felt cold and tense. President Mira stood by the window, unable to sleep. For days, rumors had come. From space, big ships were moving alien ships. No one knew if it was just a show of power, or if something worse was coming. Suddenly, a blinding white light filled the sky. All around the world, every screen turned on. Phones, TVs, even old radios began to hum with static. In every home, every city, every country, people woke up in fear. The signal was strong, sharp, and impossible to ignore. A deep, mechanical voice echoed everywhere, louder than thunder, colder than winter. The words came in every language at once, shaking the hearts of all who listened. This is Supreme Commander Valric of the Galactic Armada. Attention, people of Earth. Your world stands alone. Your history is full of violence and chaos. Your time has ended. You have 24 hours to surrender your planet to us. Refuse, and your world will be destroyed. For a moment, silence filled the earth. Some people gasped, some screamed. Some fell to their knees and prayed. Others clenched their fists and stared at the sky, angry and afraid. In the streets, police cars raced. Sirens wailed. Children cried as their parents hugged them close. Inside the United Council, alarms blared. Security officers rushed in there, faces pale. The council chamber was chaos. Dozens of leaders from all over Earth argued at once. Some shouted for surrender. Some demanded war. Some just sat in shock, unable to speak. President Myra raised her hand for silence. She was not young, but her eyes were sharp and her voice was strong. "We will not panic," she said quietly. "We will listen, and we will act with courage." Her advisor, Jacob, looked worried. "Madam President, our armies are not ready. Their fleet is huge. If they attack, we have no chance." Myra nodded. "I know. But humanity does not surrender because of fear." Just then, the oldest general in the room, General Ibrahim, cleared his throat. He had seen many wars. His hair was white, his face lined, but there was a strange calm in his eyes. "They think we will break," he said softly, almost to himself. "But they don't know us at all." Outside, the alien ships began to appear. In the sky, huge, dark, and full of lights, they hung above every major city. People stared up in terror. Some tried to hide, but there was nowhere safe from the fleet that covered the world. In a small apartment, a young girl named Sana hugged her mother. "Are they going to take us?" she whispered. Her mother shook her head and tried to smile, but her hands were shaking. "No one is going to take you. We are together." In the council chamber, scientists rushed in with news. "Madam President, we are picking up strange signals from their ships. They are scanning every system on Earth. They know our cities, our defenses, even our languages." Myra nodded. "Let them scan. Let them see who we are." As the hours ticked by, news spread faster than fire. Some people packed their bags to run. Some gathered in churches or mosques. Others watched their screens, waiting for a sign. Any sign that Earth was not alone, that there was hope. But hope was a strange thing. Sometimes it hid in the darkest corners. In the military command center, deep underground, the old general smiled to himself. He watched the alien messages, the maps, the flashing lights. His hand rested on a sealed metal case, locked for decades. Junior officer asked, "General, do we have a plan?" The old man's eyes sparkled. "We always have a plan. But first, we must see if our leaders have the courage to use it." Back in the council chamber, the debate grew hotter. Some leaders cried, "Surrender, save our people." Others shouted, "Fight, never give up." The president listened to them all, her face calm but her heart heavy. Suddenly, a small device on the table beeped. It was a message from someone deep in the shadows, a message with no name, no face, just two simple words. Don't yield. President Mira stared at those words. She remembered her childhood, stories of human courage, stories of people who fought even when there was no hope, stories of last stands, brave resistance, and impossible odds. She looked at her team, young and old, men and women, leaders from every country. Some were crying, some were angry, some were frozen in fear. But together, they were humanity. The old general met her eyes and nodded once. That was all she needed. Outside, the alien voice came again, louder this time, full of warning. 20 hours remain. Surrender or suffer. But in the heart of New Geneva, in the heart of Earth, a new kind of silence grew, not fear, but resolve. Whatever happened next, humanity would answer together, and their answer would shake the stars. Fell hard across Earth. The sky was filled with lights from the alien fleet, shining brighter than the stars. Even in the countryside, people could see the ships above. The whole world was awake. No one could sleep, not even the children. Fear was everywhere. It felt like the world was holding its breath, waiting for the end. In city streets, sirens echoed through the empty darkness. News reporters spoke in shaky voices, showing images of alien ships hanging above the tallest buildings. In the parks, people gathered around radios. Old men whispered about wars long past. Teenagers searched the internet for news. Some wrote messages to friends, afraid this would be their last night. Inside homes, families held each other tight. In a small house, a mother put her arms around her son, trying to hide her fear. The boy asked, "Will the aliens hurt us?" She swallowed hard and lied, "No, they just want to talk." But her voice shook, and the boy saw tears in her eyes. The president, Myra, walked through the long halls of the United Council building. Her footsteps echoed in the silence. Behind her, soldiers stood guard at every door, eyes sharp but faces tired. The air smelled of metal and worry. In a large room, world leaders gathered, faces lit by computer screens and maps showing the alien fleet. Arguments filled the room. "We should surrender," shouted the Prime Minister of Asia. "If we fight, everyone will die." "No," replied General Ibrahim, his voice strong. "If we give up, we are no longer human. We must show them who we are." President Myra listened to each voice. She saw the fear in their eyes. She saw the anger, too. Her advisor Jacob whispered, "Madam President, the world is scared. People need hope." She nodded. "Hope is not given. It is made." In another part of the city, scientists met in a dark underground lab. Dr. Arun, the oldest scientist, opened a heavy vault door. Inside was something covered in a thick blanket of dust, an old black device, cold and silent. He whispered, "Is it time?" Another scientist, Dr. Lin, nodded. "The aliens are not ready for what we built, but will the Council use it?" Above ground, secret messages flew between soldiers, spies, and leaders. Old enemies called each other. Russians and Americans, Chinese and Indians, all put aside their fights. Tonight, they were just human, together against the stars. A girl named Sana looked out her window at the strange lights in the sky. She heard her parents arguing in the next room. "We should leave the city," her father said. "Where will we go?" her mother answered. Sana held her little brother close, whispering, "Don't be scared. The heroes always win in the end." In the council chamber, President Mira stood at the head of the table. "I know you are all afraid. So am I," she said honestly. "But fear does not make our choices for us. What makes us human is that we stand together when it matters most. General Ibrahim stepped forward. Madam President, we need your word. Do we fight or do we bow? Mayra closed her eyes for a moment. She thought of her childhood, her father's stories of hope, her mother's gentle hands. She remembered a teacher's words. Even in the darkest night, a single candle can show the way. She opened her eyes. We will not bow. The room grew quiet. Some leaders wept quietly. Others nodded. All around the world, the same message spread on screens, on radios, in whispers between friends. We will not surrender. In the underground lab, Dr. Arun held the black device with shaking hands. It may be our only hope, he said. Dr. Lin typed a code into her tablet. We wait for the president's signal. Night stretched on. The stars disappeared behind the alien ships. Time felt slow. People watched their clocks, counting every minute dot in the council. Mira spoke to the world on live broadcast. This night is long, but we are not alone. Look at your family. Look at your neighbors. Remember, we are Earth. We are one. Outside, the old general looked at the sky. He smiled for the first time that night. They don't know us, he whispered Dot as the first light of dawn touched the edge of the world. Humanity was still afraid, but now they were ready. The world's longest night was almost over. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. Morning came, but it did not feel like morning. The sun rose behind a wall of alien ships. Their shadows fell over every city. On the streets, people watched the sky, waiting for what would happen next. Would today be the end? Or would this be the day Earth showed what it was made of? Inside the United Council building, the air was thick with fear and tension. President Mira stood at the head of a long oval table. Around her sat the world's most powerful leaders. Everyone looked tired. Some had not slept at all. Arguments from the night before still echoed in the hallways. General Ibrahim sat quietly, his fingers tapping the table. His white hair looked even whiter in the bright lights. Some leaders wanted peace. Some wanted to fight. Some just wanted to survive. But the world could not do both. President Mira spoke. The alien fleet is still there. We have less than 10 hours. We must choose now. Do we surrender, or do we stand and fight? The Prime Minister of Europe spoke first. If we fight, we risk the end of everything. Our armies are small, our weapons old. Their ships are bigger than our cities. The President of Africa shook his head. If we surrender, we lose who we are. Our children will live as slaves. That is not a future. An argument started loud, angry, desperate. Words flew back and forth. We must protect our people. We cannot trust the aliens. We have to try something. General Ibrahim listened in silence. Then he stood up. The room fell quiet. He spoke slowly. I have seen many wars. I have seen what humans can do when pushed to the edge. The aliens think they can scare us, but they do not know our hearts. He looked at President Myra. Madam President, it is time to use what we have hidden. Myra nodded. Show them. General Ibrahim pressed a button. The wall behind him slid open, and 2 soldiers rolled in a heavy black box. All eyes turned to it. It looked old, almost forgotten, but powerful. What is it? The Prime Minister of Asia asked, his voice trembling. President Mera answered, This is Project Phoenix. It is not a weapon like you know. It is a warning, a message, and a shield. Dr. Lin and Dr. Arun entered the room, both wearing white lab coats. Dr. Lin placed her hand on the black box. Years ago, when we learned about the threats in space, we built something new, something the aliens do not expect. It is not meant to destroy, but to protect. General Ibrahim opened the box. Inside was a small black device with blinking blue lights. It looked simple, but the room felt colder just seeing it. Dr. Arun spoke. This device sends a special signal. If used, it will touch every alien ship above us. It can turn off their weapons, their shields, maybe even their ships, but it can only be used once. And we do not know if it will work. A heavy silence filled the room. The world leaders looked at each other, afraid and hopeful at the same time. The president of South America said, "If we use it and it fails, they will destroy us. If it works, maybe they will be afraid to attack again." President Myra closed her eyes, thinking of all the people watching, waiting for hope. She opened her eyes and spoke to the room. Earth has always found a way to survive. Sometimes we have to risk everything to show the universe who we are. She picked up the black device and held it tightly. We will not surrender. We will send our answer. Just then, an alarm blared. The alien ships above had started to move. The clock was ticking faster now. General Ibrahim looked at the president and smiled a real proud smile. They think we are weak. Let's show them they are wrong. As the council agreed, Dr. Lin prepared the device. We wait for your signal, Madam President. Down below, soldiers gathered in bunkers. Families watched their screens, hearing news of the council's decision. All over the world, people felt a small spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, humanity still had a chance. President Mira held the device and whispered, "Let the galaxy remember." This day, outside, the alien commander Varric received a message from his spy on Earth. But the message was cut off suddenly. All signals from the ground were jammed. He frowned. "Something is wrong," he muttered. "Get ready. They may try something desperate." But on Earth, hope was growing stronger. The council had made its gamble. Now the world waited for the answer that would change everything. High above Earth, the alien fleet waited like a wall of iron and glass in the sky. There were thousands of ships, big, dark, and covered in glowing lights. Every ship was armed. Every ship was ready for battle. Inside the command ship, Supreme Commander Valric sat on a silver throne. His eyes were sharp, his skin dark blue, and his uniform shined with metals from wars long ago. He looked at the live images of Earth on a giant screen. Cities, oceans, forests, and deserts, all small and powerless compared to his mighty fleet. Valric turned to his second-in-command, Captain Joran. "Are the humans afraid yet?" he asked. Captain Joran checked his screens. "Many are scared. Some are fighting. Some are just waiting. Their leaders have not answered. We should strike before they try something foolish." Valric laughed. A cold, heavy sound. "They have nothing that can stop us. Their armies are old. Their weapons are weak. But still, they do not surrender. Curious." On the lower decks, alien soldiers loaded their weapons. Pilots checked their ships. Engineers watched the human internet, spying on every city and army base. There was a sense of pride. For years, the Galactic Armada had never lost a war. Why should this be any different? Suddenly, a warning light flashed on Joran's console. "Commander, we are picking up strange signals from the surface. Unusual energy patterns, nothing we have seen before." Valric leaned forward. "Show me." A map appeared on the screen. Points of blue light flickered across the planet, tiny, almost invisible, but spreading. Joran looked worried. "Our scanners cannot break through. Something is blocking our view." Valric waved his hand. "Ignore it. The humans are desperate." "It is a trick." But his third officer, a thin alien named Kelth, looked nervous. "Sir, one of our spies on the ground has stopped sending reports, and another has disappeared." Valric's face hardened. "Find them. I want to know everything that happens on that planet." The bridge was silent for a moment. Outside, The rest of the fleet prepared for war. Fighters moved into attack positions. Bombers readied their payloads. Massive capital ships pointed their main guns at Earth. Waiting for the final order. In the lower decks, alien troops whispered to each other. Some remembered the stories about humans, how they were clever, stubborn, and never gave up. A few. Soldiers felt a chill of doubt, but most were sure of victory. Back on the bridge, Captain Joran tried to hide his worry. "Commander, should we wait for their answer? Or attack now?" Valrex stood and walked to the main window. He looked down at the blue and white planet below. "We wait. They have 4 hours left. I want to see if they beg for mercy. If they do not, we crush them." Suddenly, a new alarm sounded. A strange code was spreading through the computer systems, quiet at first, but then faster, stronger. Joran shouted, "Commander, someone is trying to hack our systems. Shields are flickering. Weapons are responding slowly." Valrex barked orders. "Find the source. Stop it now." The crew worked fast, but the signals were everywhere, hidden and silent. Valrex's face twisted with anger. "They dare to challenge us?" He growled. Outside, the alien armada grew tense. Ships shifted positions. Officers shouted commands. The sky above Earth was full of fear and energy. But deep down, no one on the alien ships really knew what the humans were planning. And on Earth, the people waited for their leaders to answer, an answer that would decide the future of both worlds. As the countdown ticked closer to 0, both sides knew something big was about to happen. The sun was rising over Earth, but no one noticed the beauty of the new day. The whole world was quiet. On every street, in every city, people stared at screens waiting. The alien fleet still covered the sky like a storm. The time for Earth to answer had come. Inside the United Council's global broadcast room, President Mira stood with her team. Her face was calm, but her hands were shaking a little. She wore a simple suit, not a uniform of war, but the eyes of the world and the galaxy were on her. Dr. Lin gave her the small black device, the one hidden for so many years. Its lights blinked softly, almost like a heartbeat. Mira looked at her team. General Abraham nodded with quiet strength, and Jacob, her advisor, gave a shaky smile. "All channels are ready, Madam President," said a young technician. Mira stepped forward. Around the world, people held their breath. The countdown reached 0. The alien fleet sent a final demand. "Earth, your time is over. Surrender now or face destruction." Myra pressed the button. Her face appeared on every screen on Earth and every alien monitor above. Her voice was clear, even as her heart pounded. "To the Galactic Armada, and to every human watching, this is President Mira of Earth. We have heard your demand. We have heard your threats. But humanity does not kneel. We do not surrender our freedom. Not now. Not ever." She held up the black device. It gleamed in the studio lights. "You wanted an answer. Here it is." She pressed another button on the device. At that moment, strange signals shot out from deep inside Earth, signals that touched every alien. Ship in orbit. On the alien command ship, alarms blared. Lights flashed red. Captain Joran shouted, "Commander! Systems are failing, our shields are down. Weapons offline." Valrex stared at his screen in shock. What have they done? On Earth, Mira's message continued. "We are not helpless. We are not alone. If you cross this line, if you attack Earth, you will regret it. This is our home, and we will defend it, no matter the cost." She finished with one final sentence, her voice quiet but full of power. "We give you one last chance. Leave now." Her image faded from the screens. A broadcast ended, but the message echoed everywhere, in every home, every heart, every alien ship. For a few seconds, the world was silent. Then chaos exploded in the alien fleet. Systems crashed, controls froze, ships drifted out of formation. On the bridge, Valrek slammed his fist down. Find the source. Take back control. But the more they fought the signal, the worse it got. Ships' lights flickered. Weapons shut down. Their most powerful tools became useless. Back on Earth, President Mira turned to her team. She looked tired, but a spark of hope shone in her eyes. General Ibrahim smiled at her, proud. You did well, Madam President. Now we wait. Outside, people looked to the sky. The alien ships no longer looked so strong. Some drifted like broken toys. Children pointed in wonder. Soldiers cheered. For the first time in days, hope was stronger than fear. In the dark of space, Supreme Commander Valrek felt a new emotion. Doubt. No one had ever stood against him like this. He looked down at Earth, his small blue planet, and for the first time wondered if his armada was truly invincible. Earth's answer had been sent. A final warning echoed through the galaxy. Now, both worlds waited for what would come next. Spread through the alien fleet like wildfire. Sirens screamed on every ship. Lights blinked red and blue as systems shut down without warning. Alien pilots slammed buttons and pulled levers, but nothing worked. The fleet's mighty weapons were dead. The shields so strong before were gone. Engines failed, and some ships spun out of control. Supreme Commander Valrek shouted, "Report!" "What is happening?" His voice echoed across the command bridge, but his officers had no answers. "Commander, our power is dropping. The computers are offline. We cannot move our ships," Captain Joran yelled. He had never seen anything like this, not in any war or invasion. Valrek's eyes were wide with shock and anger. How is this possible? Earth has nothing like this? On the bridge, Kelth tried to reroute power. Their signal is inside our systems. It's everywhere. We cannot stop it, he said. He looked afraid for the first time. All across the alien armada, crews were in chaos. Ships collided, alarms howled, and the fleet's perfect formation fell apart. Some ships drifted helplessly. Others lost contact and floated away into the dark. No one could talk to the other ships. No one could fight back. On Earth, the United Council watched the sky in awe. President Mira and her team saw alien ships flickering like dying stars. News flashed everywhere. Alien fleet disabled. Humanity fights back. People cheered and hugged each other. Children laughed and pointed at the sky. Soldiers ran into the streets, shouting with joy. For the first time in history, all humans felt truly united. Hope was everywhere. Inside the underground lab, Dr. Lin and Dr. Aaron monitored their screens. The black device worked. Its signal had crippled the alien technology. Dr. Arun wiped tears from his eyes. It worked. "We did it," he whispered. "General." Ibrahim stood straight and proud. "This is what they never understood," he said quietly to President Mira. "Humans do not give up. When we are cornered, we become stronger." Above the Earth, Valrek's anger turned to fear. He slammed his fist on the arm of his chair. "Retreat! All ships retreat at once!" He ordered, but only a few ships responded. The rest were frozen. Powerless, Valrek looked at Earth on the screen. How did they do this? He whispered almost to himself. On the ground, the message spread. The aliens were running. Earth was safe for now. President Mira looked at her people. She saw smiles, tears, hope, and strength. "This is not just a victory," she said to her team. "It is a warning to anyone who would threaten Earth. We may be small, but our will is strong. We will always fight for our freedom." As the alien ships limped away, their threat was gone. Across the planet, people began to dream again of peace, of safety, and of a future that belonged to all of humanity. But somewhere, Far away in the stars, other eyes watched and remembered. The day humanity used unthinkable power and refused. To surrender would never be forgotten. The long night was finally over. All across Earth, the first light of morning touched the ground. People stood in the streets and looked up at the sky. The alien fleet, once so strong and frightening, was now broken and drifting away. Some ships vanished into space, damaged and powerless. Others tried to move, but nothing worked. Earth had survived the impossible dot in the United Council. President Myra spoke to the world again. Her face was tired but bright. Behind her stood General Ibrahim, Dr. Lin, Jacob, and leaders from every nation. Their eyes were full of pride. Mira's words went out to every corner of the planet. We faced the greatest danger in our history. We stood together as one. Today, we are not just a world, we are a family. We did not win with hate or fear, but with courage, unity, and hope. Earth is safe because we refuse to give up. People cheered in every city and village. Children danced in the parks. Old soldiers saluted the sky. Families hugged, some with tears running down their faces. They would never forget this day. News spread fast across the galaxy. Other alien races, watching from far away, saw the defeat of the Great Armada. They whispered to each other. The humans did not surrender. The humans fought back. The humans are strong. On a small alien outpost in deep space, a young alien officer watched the last human broadcast. He turned to his commander. Should we fear them? He asked. His commander nodded slowly. We should respect them. Humans are not what we thought. They are more dangerous and more hopeful than any story ever told. Back on Earth, life slowly returned to normal. The people remembered the fear and pain, but they also remembered the courage. New friendships grew between countries. Old enemies became new friends. People promised never to forget the lesson of this night. Humanity's real strength was not in their weapons, but in their hearts. In a quiet park, the little girl Sana stood with her mother and brother, looking up at the bright sky. She smiled. We are safe now, she said. Her mother hugged her tight. Yes, and we are stronger than ever. General Ibrahim visited a school and saw the children playing. He smiled, knowing the future would be brighter. Dr. Lin and Dr. Arun worked together, helping the world heal and prepare for anything that might come next. And President Mira, standing by her window, watched the sunrise. She whispered, We are Earth. We are one. Far above, in the silence of space, the broken pieces of the alien fleet drifted away. The galaxy would never forget the day humanity answered with unthinkable power and a promise never to surrender. New dawn had come, and with it, a new hope for all of Earth.